Welcome Black Live. Tim Lester, we feel like we're old friends here. We're talking about all kinds of things early on. Stacy Clarity joins us. As we were talking offline before the show, Stacy's well prepared with a whole list of questions. I'm here just to ask the first question, which is, how are you doing, Coach? Welcome to West Lafayette and Purdue, and you've been busy since December the 28th.
Yeah, I haven't spent a ton of time in West Lafayette.
Yeah.
I've been all over the country recruiting, So, but now that the signing day's done, I've actually spent I think a complete week here, and it's been great.
Did you get home though to see the kids after signing day?
Right after signing
all
day, yes.
right.
I went back up to upstate New York for a couple days, which was fun to see them, and they're actually on their way down here now. So for next week, so I'm fired up about that.
Good.
Whose house are they gonna crash in?
Right now, I'm living in an extra room in Coach Elz's house. So he's been nice enough to put me up in the meantime till my family gets here. So I've been very fortunate to have him take care of me.
That's kind of how it has to work, right?
Yeah.
When you guys just get here and everybody's here,
Yeah.
everybody's family is, you just kind of.
It's such an unbelievable group. I mean, I actually lived for the first 3-4 weeks in Coach Parker's basement, and now I've moved. So yeah, I mean, they're all welcoming, and it's a kind of a fraternity of coaches,
Yeah.
and we try to take care of one another during transitional times, and they've done an unbelievable job of taking care of me.
Skype is your friend, though, with the kids. You get a chance to do that, and you
FaceTime.
have FaceTime.
Thank the Lord for FaceTime.
Okay.
It is. I think back when I was recruited, and and those guys went on the road, and they had to call their kid. Like I get
Yeah.
to see my kids every day and talk to them, and they each grab the phone and run around the house with
Yeah.
it, and it is a great invention.
Yeah, no question.
Should we get right into it?
Go right. We're past the introduction part now. We're into the real
Well,
hard
you usually
hitting
like to
stuff.
do the sponsors.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna let you
All
go.
right. So I just think your background's really interesting. You've coached pretty much at every level. I mean, the high school level, D3, D2, been a defensive coordinator, been an offensive coordinator, been a head coach. Certainly at a high level, offensive coordinator at Syracuse. So all of those different stops and kind of different duties. How has that made you a better coach, do you think?
I think you appreciate everything.
Yeah.
I had a unique way of my path. I mean, I obviously played Division I football, and I actually coached high school. I was playing arena. I was playing arena football and needed something to do in the fall, and helped out at a team down in Memphis, Tennessee, which is where I met my wife and where I was playing arena at the time. And so that kind of walked into that one, and then I knew I wanted to coach, and Division III was my first opportunity. Moved up the ladder pretty quick from 3 to 2 to 1. Became a head coach at Rensselaer, St. Joe's and Rensselaer up the road, and got a chance to go back to my alma mater, Western Michigan University, as a quarterback coach. And I've been a quarterback coach the whole time. That's what I love to do. That's my passion. And so that's really the big thing. What really happened for me is it got to the point when I was at Western Michigan that I'm from Chicago. I'm from Wheaton, Illinois, west side of Chicago. So my father was sick, and I wanted to move back home to be by him for his last couple of years, with us, and be closer to family and everything. So when I left there to move back to Chicago, I took any job I could get, which happened to be a D coordinator job, which was interesting.
Yeah.
I learned a ton on the other side of the fence, and. Luckily I was at North Central College, which is a top 10 team in the country. I had better players than most teams did. So no matter how, people are like, wow, you had a great defense. I'm like, yeah, I had great players, But I learned a ton. Became a head coach again and got to be at Elmhurst College for 5 years as a head coach, knowing that there was just a matter of time until I decided to get back into it. And I used to get calls every year. Coach Schaefer used to call me, when he coming? I was like, well, my dad passed away in 2010. And by 2012, I made the jump to Syracuse, and it's been a great ride. It was always happening. It was just something I felt like I had a chance to go home and be with my family when I needed to be, and knowing I could be a Division I coach when I needed to be, and it's worked out really well.
We could fill a whole segment with stories from like AF2 and Arena Ball
Yeah.
and your days as Chicago. What was it, Enforcers?
The
or
Enforcers,
whatever
I
they
did
were?
play. I played in the XFL. Yes, it was a fun league. It was fun. I mean, people ask me all the time about what was being on a team. Like Ron Meyer was our head coach in Chicago, and it was just like being on any other team. And we were yelled at and coached. And now we showed up on game day. It wasn't normal. I mean, the stuff going on in the crowd and the coin toss, and it became really more like a rock concert. But the football was great. But yeah, I didn't know until we did our first game how Hollywood the games were going to be.
Because you almost got hit by a beer bottle, right?
I did. It was the Jose Cuervo bottle. And it was
Do you have time
empty.
to read the label?
It was empty. No, well, because it cut my ear and it hit the ground, and that was in L.A. at the Coliseum, and it landed and rolled out onto the field. And first of all, I put my helmet on, right, number one, and then I ran out and grabbed it and threw it in the trash on the sideline. But yeah, I got clipped. My ear got clipped by an empty. It was interesting.
Is there anything in that league that they always talk about the USFL in the '80s and to some extent the World League that has caused some changes that we see now? Do you see anything that you saw in that league you're going to see down the road more and more?
Well, I don't think at that point it was a huge let's mic players, and they mic'd us like crazy. We were mic'd, and as a quarterback, I was mic'd all the time, and then they had that camera, that hanging camera.
Yeah.
I mean, the NFL has done an unbelievable job of letting some of these other leagues try stuff and fall on their face, and some of them, and say, okay, you fell on your face. I'm going to take these 3 things you did well, and I'm going to add it to my game.
Yeah.
And they took a couple of those things, and I think it's made the NFL even better if that's possible.
And that's hard to imagine.
Yeah, I covered the Arena League for years when I was in Fort Wayne. It's a different beast.
Yeah, I did not. Have. I played and threw 7, 8 touchdowns a game. It was a lot of fun that way, but it wasn't the same game. It's a different game.
You don't have as many players out there for one.
Weird.
It's a little bit
Weird.
different.
It's not 7-on-7 though either. I mean, it's true. I mean, in
No.
terms of what we know is
Yeah,
7-on-7 for you guys.
Yeah,
it's not.
everything you learn as a quarterback is about coverage and numbers and spacing, and everything you get in arena is the opposite.
Yeah.
So I did not enjoy the league, although I was successful in the league.
Yeah.
I did not enjoy it. And at that point, I knew I was just going to play arena football until I got a chance to get my first college job, and then it finally happened.
Yeah. You've coached some young quarterbacks at a lot of different places that you've been in, and a lot of them have had success. I mean, at Western Michigan, Tim Hiller, I think MAC Freshman of the Year maybe that year, and even at Elmhurst, he had a kid who led you to a conference championship, I believe. So when you look at the quarterback room here, only 3 guys in your room right now, but 2 of them scholarship guys. One's a sophomore, one's a redshirt freshman. What have those experiences dealing with young quarterbacks maybe taught you, or do you have? Certainly, they don't know as much, so you're coaching them a little bit differently.
Yeah, you can't. You have to realize with young kids, you have to realize what they can and can't do, and make sure that I put things in the right perspective to them. Because if I speak to them like they're a senior, I'm probably just going to confuse them. I'm only going to give them the information they need. I'm probably not going to give them as many options as, hey, when you see this, check the backside post. No, I'm not even going to mention the backside post. I'm going to say, you find the Sam and you read them.
Yeah.
So I just got to make sure, having coached a lot of young guys. I mean, this year I had a 5th-year senior quarterback at Syracuse who blew his Achilles on play number 7 of the year, which was quite a surprise.
Yeah.
True freshman went in,
Yep.
and he did a great job. I think he would have been a freshman All-American if he hadn't got hurt.
Right,
He was leading the country in efficiency after his first 5 games, and I was really proud with the way he played as a freshman. But we tailored everything down, and when we played smart since we had a young guy in. The great thing is I know David played a little bit last year. That makes it. There's nothing you can do to make up for experience. There's nothing. You can have a young guy that has a cannon and can run around like crazy, but if there's another guy that might have less talent and experience is a very strong thing in quarterbacking. So it's been fun working with the young guys, and as long as you understand it. I played 4 years of college football, so I tell everybody all the time, and I'm sure I'm going to get this for saying this, but like I tell everybody, I told the staff when I got here, Coach Hazel got fired because of me. He played me as a freshman.
Yeah.
When he was my coach, and I redshirt freshman. I played. We went 2-9. I was freshman of the year in the league, but we still went 2-9. We lost every game by 3.
Yeah.
But we went 2-9, and they got fired. And then the next year we went 8-3, and we won 7 or 8 from then on out. But it's hard, But when you have that experience, when you've lived it, I've been able to do little things with the young guys that I have coached to make it a little bit easier and hopefully just make them more effective, and really kind of open up the envelope when they're ready, when they show they're ready, when they come to me and say, Coach, did you see that? And I'm like, yes, now that you see it, let's take advantage of it.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to tell you it's there, because eventually there's this point of saturation, and then their play just goes straight down because you gave them too much, you know, and that's going to be our job, and it'll be tricky, but it can definitely be done. It's been done at many places.
Confidence is another thing that's in a big part, and when you're trying to turn a program that it hasn't won as much as it would have liked the last couple of years, and with young quarterbacks, what's your key there? What do you try to instill in them to, even when times are tough, to keep their chin up and do what they have to do?
It's hard. That's the one good thing about quarterbacking, is it's really hard to get, global or worldly, because there's so much you do on every play, So we don't have too many issues with that, because from the time you get the signal to the time you're at the line of scrimmage, the amount of stuff that I'm packing in there that I want you to do, you shouldn't really have a ton of time to think, hey, we're winning, we're losing, I really think that, the difference between my freshman year of college when we went 2-9, when Coach Hazel was the wideout coach, is, we actually stopped and looked how close all the games were. And the next year, when unfortunately they were gone, but we went 8-3, we just kept playing.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think the teams that finish games well are the teams that keep playing, and one team actually gets worse because they get nervous, and the other team just keeps playing.
Yeah.
And now this team gets credited for rising to the occasion.
Yeah.
Where I don't know if they ever rose. They
Yeah.
just kept playing their game, and the other team got nervous and choked.
Yeah.
And I think that's sometimes the difference, although they call it rising to the occasion. So, and I've watched all the games, and they competed in a ton of games. It reminds me a lot of my freshman year when we were 2-9, and we were in a ton of games. We got blown out a couple times, but there was a ton of games we were in, and you learn from it, and then you learn to just keep playing and don't look at the clock, and realize you watch teams that score 28 points in 2 minutes to come back. So if you have a lead, you better just keep playing, and if you're down, it could be you. So as soon as you stop looking at the scoreboard, the horn will go off, and they'll stop us from playing.
Yeah.
And until then, I want my guy focused in on how to execute that play. Not that we're up 10 or down 10 or anything like that. I want him to worry about executing that play to the best of his ability.
Yeah.
You've played in a lot of different styles, coached a lot of different styles of offense, different tempos, relied on a guy who rushed for 2,000 yards, to kind of lead your team, and done a lot of different things. From Coach Hazel and Terry Malone, the new coordinator, we've heard we want a quarterback-friendly offense. What does that mean to you, as a guy who has been a coordinator before and now is in this, whatever this quarterback-friendly offense is? What does that look like to you?
Well, I think establishing a run game is really important. I think taking pressure off of him where he's not involved in every single play, where he doesn't have to make the key decision on every play. Now, he's going to make a ton of key decisions on at least 70 to 80% of the plays, but not every play. Sometimes we need to be able to line up and run the ball, and that will make throwing the ball much easier. You learn over time that when you have a running game, throwing the ball is easy. When you don't have a run game, throwing the ball is extremely difficult.
Which you went through in your career.
I did. My junior year, my running back got hurt, and we threw the ball. We still threw for 300 yards a game, but we threw it 52 times, and I saw every coverage, every bracketed coverage. The holes we were throwing in were about yay big.
Yeah.
And then my senior year, when I came back, we were able to run the ball. And now guys are wide open. We throw the ball 30 times for 350 yards. We do half as many throws and twice as much production. And so even as a quarterback, at that time when I was setting records and all that was great, but it was really, the difference was the guy behind me was a pretty darn good running back. And I've taken that into my coaching world, and I say, I know everyone is floored that our running back at the Division III level, he won the what's equivalent to the Division III Heisman. He rushed for 2,000 yards, and they're like, well, you're the quarterback that broke all the records. I said, well, so did our quarterback broke the records too, at Elmhurst. But running the ball was a very important part of taking a little bit of pressure. Eventually, I'd like to be able to throw the ball every down and win a game. But that takes Tom Brady.
Right.
It takes a guy, and when we have that guy, we should be able to win from the pocket. We should be able to win running it. We should be able to win throwing it.
Right.
But there is a formula for having some success with young guys. I mean, I think about Roethlisberger, and he went to the Super Bowl in his first year, and guess what? They could run it. They ran the ball, and not too much pressure was put on him, and so we got to find that happy mix of what our guys can do, You know, those guys know a lot more about what our guys can do right now than I do. I've never seen them on the field.
Right.
But it'll be fun to put that together.
Well, you look back, even you came here on December the 28th, and you had all these things to get done. What did you learn about selling Purdue in that time? What was the best thing that you thought resonated with guys that you talked with? About
You
the
know,
program?
I think the biggest thing, well, the people. You know, I'm from the Midwest,
Yeah.
and it was unbelievable how warm the staff was when I came on my interview, and really the whole athletic department, everyone as a whole. And I grew up here. And I've only been gone on the East Coast for 3 years, but it did make a difference to me, and I did know about the education.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's hard to not know about two things about Purdue when you're from the Midwest. You have to know about engineering and business, and you have to know about the cradle of quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And those are fun to sell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And those came right off the bat, and were fun to talk about, and it's fun to be a part of.
I think we only have a couple minutes left, but I really
Yeah,
want to
you got to get to a meeting, I know, so go ahead.
Yes, but I really want to ask about how you're going to incorporate virtual reality, because I think that seems so cool, and I was reading about it and everything. Can you just, how are you going to do it, and are you going to do it soon?
Yeah, I'm actually in the
equipment,
process.
I
I'm
wanna see
waiting.
it.
I'm waiting for the equipment.
Okay.
I'm shocked it's not here yet.
Yeah.
The goggles, and they'll get here soon enough, and we'll definitely give you a shot on them. And then I gotta put it together. We're still putting the offense together right now, so I can't create
asking too much.
I can't create the program until we put an offense together. As
Yeah.
soon as we do, I will create the program, and all of our coaches, our players, quarterbacks especially. You can do other players too, but
Right.
we use it for the quarterbacks everywhere I've been. It lets them have reps. I mean, the biggest thing is reps. We talked about experience. I mean, if I can say, hey, you know, you're going to get all the reps today. You all are going to get as many reps as you want. You can take 1,000 reps today if you want.
Right.
Just put this goggles on,
Yeah.
and there's a right and wrong answer to every play, and I get emailed, well, how you did.
Do you really?
Oh yeah, I'll know. You know, it's just a repetition thing, and I don't really put much on the grades. I just want the fact that they have the ability to get reps, extra reps, whenever they want. And there's a lot of great programs out there, and there's one I've been using, and it's not official yet. Everything's not a done deal yet, but we're in the process of doing it. And when I get it together, it'll be fun to show everybody what it can do, because it has made a big difference in even last year when I had a freshman playing. I mean, the summer before he started, I mean, I can't tell you how many reps he took in July on his own in the office. Just boom, pop the thing on, and he probably took 1,000 reps in July. And didn't want to play him. I wanted to play my fifth year senior, but
you had to.
unfortunately, he played on
That's a big
play
deal.
8. On play
Yeah.
8, he was in, and I think it really helped.
That's kind of the perfect example of why it's there.
Yeah.
Really, I mean.
To have 2, 3, and 4 ready,
Yeah.
because everyone's one hit away, and so was I when I played, and that's just part of the game, and you just got to be ready when your number's called.
Time for one more question?
Oh, you want to finish it out?
No, go ahead.
I
It's
kind
all
of feel
you.
like I'm stealing the show.
No, it's all you.
A little bit. David Blau had mentioned that you recruited him while, obviously, he was still in high school. You were out at Syracuse, and he kind of joked that, you know, he was your backup plan because you already had a guy in the class. But so then from, you know, those 9 or 10 weeks when you're able to speak with him and obviously getting to know him again now, I mean, just your general impressions of him and.
Yeah, he's done. I mean, I give him. I'm hard on him. I'm
Yeah.
his coach. You know, so I've been our relationship here in the past week's been, you know, you do this too much, you're looking here too much, you got to calm your feet down a little bit, and then he I know, and I said, but you look like you're a freshman. You look like you're supposed to look. Don't worry, I'm not
Yeah.
mad about it. You look like you're supposed to look. But I expect it to look different next time you're out there.
Right.
And but yeah, I had a chance. We when I got it, it was really unique. 3 years in Syracuse. First year I got there, everybody was committed. Even my next year guy had already committed. So my first time I actually got to coach a quarterback that I recruited was last year, that freshman. You know, which is unique. You're there 3 years and you don't coach one guy that you recruited. So, you know, in year 2, I was the what if this guy who's already committed changes his mind, find someone in the country that you think's really good. And David was one of the 3 guys that I really thought had a great set of I mean, his feet, his release. I liked a lot of things he did. He didn't have a ton of action at the time, so I was like, maybe if our guy changes his mind, this is a guy that I can get to know, because I really think at that point he was a better player than he was being recruited as. Obviously, someone at Purdue thought that too, because I literally got off the plane in Dallas, Texas, and it was posted that Purdue offered him. I was like, well, because I wasn't there to offer him, I was just there to watch him and hopefully strike up a relationship that if something happened with the guy that was committed before I took the job at Syracuse, I'd have a relationship to go get him. So it was funny. I still went and watched him, but I'm like, he's definitely he's going to Purdue, I'm not offering him at least till for 8 months,
Right.
So it is unique now that I'm here and I get to coach him because I definitely thought a lot of him when I recruited him 2 years ago.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to let you get to your meeting. Matt is going to fire up the race car and get you back down for that 2:30 meeting as well. Thank you, Coach. I'd like to play for you. You're energetic, and I think that's going to be, the problem is I can't throw.
You can't throw it?
But I do want
that's a
to, I
little
do
bit
want
of
to
a
try
problem.
the goggles, though, after Stacy
Yes.
gets done with them as well. It'd be awesome.
We
to
can do
see.
that.
Coach, thanks again. We'll look forward to getting to know you in the years to come, and we want to take a quick break, and we'll be back in a couple minutes. Brian Newbert and I will talk Purdue hoops and more on Golden Black Live.